I could never share my loved one. This is something I've heard a lot of times, and I'm asking, please define share. Do you own a person? I mean, you get all of me the time we are together, but you don't get all of me all the time. I mean, you can't get all of me from anyone. So, I could never have shared my loved one implies that you own another person. And that's something that's never functioned for me. It's been situations that I would say, I love you, but in those situations I try to explain what that means. What does love mean? Because a lot of times when you say, I love you, it's you projecting the meaning of love onto your partner. So if I love you means I own you, then that's something that I'm not part of. So when I say I love you, I say I wish you to have a good and warm and secure feeling when you're with me. That could be one way of saying it. Now, love has many meanings, but I like to say at least this is what I'm sending out. And then I can ask, what are you receiving? And if these two seem to be sort of the same, I think it's a good one. So, I could never share my loved one. Well, I'll probably have some problems sharing my toothbrush, but I mean, if you already kissed, then that's less of a problem. And one way in a polyamorous relationship that you are going to learn that your loved ones are individuals is by learning other individuals. So I like reading the books of Kurt Vonnegut Jr. or just Kurt Vonnegut, and I like reading the books of Doris Lessing. Now Kurt, he has his specific style of writing, and Doris has her specific style of writing. Now I've read all the books, I think, from Kurt Vonnegut, but I haven't read all the book from Doris Lessing. But they are unique in every sense, and the relationship that I have with what they've written is both two unique things. And if I take this into having partners, and just I'm writing a bit myself as well, so I might be learning things from Doris or from Kurt, even if I don't think that what I'm writing is really in that style. And that might be something I work into my style, and then it becomes mine. So if you're having more partners, you can learn something from one and you can pass it on to the other. Or the other could learn it from somebody else and pass it on in. So this is on the good side of having something that is spread. Of course, there can be bad things being spread as well, and usually it goes much quicker than in a monogamous relationship. But we're going to talk about safer sex a little bit later, and there's been no proof so far, according to the statistics that I've read, that polyamorous people are having a worse statistic than monogamous people. But I'll talk about that a little bit later. So, having partners, not having to lie about it, learning things, bringing them back into another relationship without the fear of, where did you learn that? So, that's one thing to think about. One of the good things of knowledge being spread in a polyamorous relationship or polyamorous relationships. In a polyamorous relationships, I feel much more of an individual. I feel not so much part of a couple, even if my polyamorous relationships are more dyads or more couple relationships. Occasionally they have been triads. Occasionally it's been, well, I'm talking about the stable relationships. Being a triad, I feel more like an individual and as this group, but the group feeling or the couple feeling or the dyadic feeling I get with me and this person is not the same as this person and not the same as us three together. And I assume not if the other two should have a relationship or connection, that will also be different. So it's composed of many relationships. And as an individual, I connect to other individuals, and should that happen, I connect to the larger group. So there is many levels of communication going on here in poly relationships, and that is one of the richest. But of course you have to learn to navigate it, and you have to react to things coming in, and you have to act the things that you feel. If you can be faithful to one, you can be faithful to many. Every relationship is unique. There is no two relationships which are not unique. I think I'll put it this way: if a relationship isn't unique, then it isn't a relationship. And also there is the relationship to the different relationships. That's also something to remember. And most important, the relationship to yourself. If that one is not okay, there will be problems other places in your relationships. So yes, if you can be faithful to one, you can be faithful to many. And one thing many says about polyamorous relationships is that, oh no, you cannot be faithful. That's why you're having more relationships. But that is actually the opposite. You're having more relationships because you're able to be faithful to these people. So, what does sharing mean to you? We're in the homework section now, and this is completely only if you want, and this is small things you can think about. What does sharing mean to you? And which half, or which third, or which fourth do you give to your partners? And do you get them back when you're going home? Or have you sometimes found out that you wake up with some parts that didn't belong to you or to your partner, but maybe came from somebody else? Next topic coming up will be communication and conflict.